Let's look into our friends in their raw form again. And let's now say we want to transform exam scores to be an array where we only see scores higher than 60. Now, this can also be done in the projection phase, because I want to transform every single friend record. I don't want to group by anything. I just want to transform the array in there. And to achieve this, I'll add exam scores again. You could name this differently though. This is up to you. And in there, you can now use the special filter operator. Now, how does filter work? Filter allows you to filter out certain elements in an array and only return these that fulfill a certain condition. So here I would want to filter for the score being greater than 60. Now, how does this work? First of all, you need to add an input here. And that is the array which you want to filter. In our case, we could say it's obvious that I want to filter on exam scores because I will store the result in a field name exam scores, but keep in mind you can name this field however you want. So therefore, filter needs to know where is the input array. And the input array is exam scores with a $sign because I'm pointing at a field in my document. Then we assign a temporary name. This is a so-called local variable, which will be used inside our filter expression, which we'll write in a second. You can name this however you want. I'll name it SC to not repeat scores all the time, but you can name this however you want. The last element we need, or the last field, is the condition, COND, cond. Now, the condition here can take a bunch of expression operators, to which you also find a link in the last lecture of this module. And I'll just bring this into a new line to make it easier to read. The expression operator I want to use here is greater than. Now, greater than here works a bit different than when we used it in match or find. Here, greater than simply takes an array of values it should compare. And this makes sense because we are now in the context of another operator. So we can't compare exam scores, the whole array, or anything like that. Instead here, what I want to compare inside of my filter expression is, of course, the value of this temporary variable, which will refer to the different values in my exam scores. So you can imagine this being a function that gets executed for every exam score in my exam scores array. And then every value will temporarily be stored in here so that we can compare it. So here in greater than, I will check if my SC variable is greater than 60. This is how this works. However, SC like this would be treated as a string. We need to tell MongoDB that we're referring to this variable. Now, $1 would look for a field named SC. We add $2 in this case. You don't see it that often because you don't have that many operators of this kind, but filter, which essentially executes a function over and over again on all the fields in exam scores, or all the elements in there, I should say. Filter needs such a temporary variable for every step it executes for us, and we can refer to this temporary variable with the $sign syntax then. Now, with this approach, we would not get the result we want though, because you have to keep in mind that exam scores is in the end, and I can show this to you again, is in the end an array of embedded documents where you have a difficulty and score. Now, SC here would refer to the overall embedded document. Now, I'm interested in the score though. So I have to check sc.score here in my greater than condition. And with that, I can take that aggregate function, execute it, and we should get arrays with only scores greater than 60. So you can see that here. I get one document with scores greater than 60. Then we got another document with scores greater than 60. There we only got one exam, hence we only got one object in there. And then this last one. So this is how filter works. Filter allows you to filter arrays in documents inside of the projection phase.